Hello, sim racers, and welcome to another live stream. Tonight, Lazy Dev, who managed to actually finish a 6 hours race on someone else's setup, will take responsibility and try to make a proper setup for himself on Barcelona with the Mercedes, which we didn't do last time. So this is what we're going to do tonight, and hopefully maybe try a couple of other cars, maybe a GT4 cars on Barcelona, and see how they do. So, hello everybody in the chat. I can see you already, many people joining. And nice, nice, very nice. Yes, I've just disabled the slow chat feature because I doubt we're going to be again 1,000 people on the chat. But if it's needed, of course, we can activate it again. But I don't think we're going to have issues tonight. Right. So, well, first of all, let me know if you can hear me properly because the ongoing, I don't know what to say, history with my microphone still goes up and down all the time. So, just let me know if the sound is good. I believe you can hear me already. And but yeah, we won't get 1,000 viewers tonight for sure. It would be nice if we can bring the channel up to 16,000 subscribers. We are very very close to that number. So if you are new to this channel, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I usually forgot to say things like that, but you guys keep coming and coming on the channel, so this is very very nice. All right. So thank you, NC. No worries. Um, okay, yeah, well, Jimmy and Zardier are the big guns. We are just small fishes in the pond. But yeah, sometimes we get our fair share of fame too. um, Jardier's neighbor, who's that? If I have seen Gamer Muscle server filter song, no, please, guys, spare me from this. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, as I said, last time we did the 6 hours race at Race Club International at Barcelona with this wonderful, wonderful Mercedes AMG GT3. and and the fact is that I did practically no proper practice for this car. Lots of things were happening in real life and work and all that stuff, so I couldn't do any proper practice with this car. And because of that, we used somebody else setup. By the way, I shouldn't even share the setup because they decided to know. The setup was taken from. I mean, someone gave it to Gergo. Gergo was happy with it. Gergo was the guy that did the most practice. So we said, okay, if you're happy with it, you did the most practice, so it's good for you. Let's go with that setup. So tonight, what I'm going to do is try to find out if I can start from the aggressive setup as usual, do a couple of clicks here and there, and manage to do the same lap times that I was doing in the race on my last stint. We're going to go to Barcelona. I have put practice mode at 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's going to be dark. The temperature is the same as on the server when I started to drive, so it's pretty cold, which is not so normal situation for Barcelona. Usually, Barcelona you have a lot of heat. So let's see what we can do. Well, first of all, we're gonna go into the setup, aggressive setup, and I'm going to put the fuel at 105, which was pretty much the fuel that I was carrying during the race. Hello, everybody in the chat. Very nice to see you guys, everybody. And so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a couple of laps. For sure, we will have to, check our pressures. Number one thing to do, always check the pressures. But let's do a couple of laps and see in what conditions the pressures are with such low temperature here. Because usually the aggressive setups are made for about 27 degrees ambient and 33 degrees asphalt, something like that. This is the usual temperature, or 30 degrees ambient, 35 track, something like that. Now it is dark. We have 15, just 15 degrees of temperature. So yeah, for sure we're gonna need to change the pressures. Okay, let's do a couple of laps and see our pressures, at what conditions the pressures are. All right. I hope you guys enjoying 1.5.4. We did some extra new stuff inside the game, which I believe you're gonna enjoy. Also fixed some bugs on the Automagic. Almost done with this thing. So yeah, good thing. Yeah, Mats, and all the safe and all the preset setups are usually made for that kind of temperature. Oh yes, Helion, absolutely. Flat spots are even more. We have possibly the most damage in the tires from any other sim out there. We simulate, of course, tire wear and pressures and everything, but we also simulate graining, blistering, flat spots, tearing. There's tons of things, and of course, obviously, you can have your tires explode if you're going over curbs or outside the road, or the pressures are too low, or you wear them down too much, or you overheat them by a lot in a donut, for example, stuff like that. So there's tons of things that can happen to your tires. Whoa, oversteer. Alpha, yes, I believe we fixed the main set of problems were in session changes. So when the session was changing and the replay highlights were starting, the replay gave to the Automagic wrong values about the state of the car. Normally the car should have been, into a virtual plane, completely stopped, but the replay highlights was giving the Automagic system of the setup wrong values about the toe, the camber, and so on. And so the Automagic was going into full confusion and would corrupt completely your setup if you were trying to change your setup and save it during the session overs. So when you had a session over from, say, practice to qualify, or to qualify to race, or end of race usually. Now we have corrected this. There's still a small little bug, it seems, because you could I'm driving easy, because you can still make a slight problem with the setup. It's not a bug anymore. It will try to create your setup, to save your setup with the worn out tires after a race. So obviously the worn out tires have a change in 1 millimeter height, and the Automagic will try to include that 1 millimeter into the setup. But that should be easy to fix in a next hot fix, and we'll take care of that too. It was toe, actually. Toe was the big issue. Okay, so we have some oversteer here, but obviously the pressures are completely off. We are about 1 psi down, even more than 1 psi down. So that's so much oversteer. Realignment. 28 degrees. You're so lucky, man. We have 33 something here. Even now there's something like 30, I think. So don't tell me about it. Ha! 36 degrees in London. Oh my god. Well, yep. We fucked up the whole climate. Excellent. Okay, so 26. Okay, so let's go to the pits and check our pressures. I won't make you lose so much time tonight, guys. So I will, just ask and go to the pits right away. No, no, Kibo, no, that's not simulated. All right, so 26.3, we want to arrive to at least 27.5. So 1, 2, and then 25.5, like this. Here we need 1 psi up, so 27. All right, so 26.6 again, 1, 2, and 26 here. And here 1, 2, 3, and 27.1. Okay, that should make our pressures correct for such a cold temperature at Barcelona. So we'll go out and do a couple of laps more and see what we do. Because again, I remind you guys, number one thing, check your pressures and then do the rest of the things. Somebody's is aboard. I don't know. Marco Carpani. Thanks, mate. And Just Right also subscribe. Thank you, guys. All right. Ciao, Andy G. Let me check if I can pin at least the stream events. Yeah, that one. Done. Should be somewhere around here so I can see it. And back. All right, and back. Okay. Yeah, got it. All right. Phantom, you didn't miss nothing yet. We have this is the aftermath of the 6 hours race. So we go back to Barcelona with the Mercedes, and this time I will try to make a setup of my own because the setup we were driving was not our own. I didn't had made any practice or prepared a new setup, so we just Gergo found a setup that was suiting him, and he was happy about it. So tonight I'm doing my job that I should have done, some weeks ago. All right. So what do we do? Let's go. Pop, 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 pop. Let's do a couple of laps again. Oh, Tortellini, what happened? Oh, completely crashed. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Ryan, yes. Ooh. The oversteer continues. But first, let's heat up the tires. Disqualify. Yeah. 5,000. 5 seconds for Vettel. Ooh. I hope I didn't lost any pressure going over there. All right, let's see. I still can feel some oversteer here. Pressures are coming up. Lap time is coming down. Ooh, come on. Not good. Hello, Whippy Whip. Oh, so much oversteer. Under power. I have oversteer in turn in and oversteer under power, so I have an idea why this happens. I know that the setup we have here for the Mercedes is the actual setup of the real car, but as we also said, usually you run at Barcelona with way higher temperatures, which means that you have practically less power, you have more traction in some ways. Generally the car are more understeery when you have more heat, you know. And now we have the temperature is so cold, and the engine, you know, pushes really hard, so we get oversteer pretty much everywhere with this setup that it is supposed to be more neutral during a hotter environment. So yeah, that's an indication. But you know, we can fix it, no big problems. Oh, look at that. Hey, Zibzokt. Welcome. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for the follow. Right, pressure seems to be a little bit on the low side, but they are, let's say, good enough to give us an indication of what the car does. And we know now that we have oversteer pretty much everywhere. If we attack too much, you see. Yeah, it is staying happy right now. It is also quite, it seems to move a lot. I can feel the car move a lot, especially left and right. And I have an idea why this is happening, why the original setup was probably too soft. Look at that. Ooh, I really have to catch it as fast as I can. Let's do a proper lap. Not like this, possibly. Ciao il capitano Bomber, il Capitan Bomber. Mi hai fatto uscire di strada, capitano. Andiamo Spanagliotti. Okay, so the pressures now are better. Oh yeah, the GT4s are very fun. Maybe we can try GT4 later. Yeah, the car moves a lot, especially here. I can feel it really moving. Boom. Lots of... Oof. Okay. Let's go a little bit. Let's do a proper lap. Nah, it's impossible. I keep reading the chat. But it's okay, we don't have to concentrate a lot tonight. Ah, yes, pressure are much better than Kevin's at his first stint. Hey, Dookie! Yeah, the car goes from understeer, from oversteer to understeer, depending on what I do with the accelerator. So yeah, definitely, it is a very, very soft setup right now. I have an idea why this is like that, but first I want to check the setup and see if it's obviously like that or if I'm just mistaken. So much movement around. Woo. Alright, so we do 36 lows. I could do a 45 properly if I concentrate properly. Yeah, already 45 mids like that. But I'm not confident to push like this. I don't like how the car reacts, you know. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, you see, I'm not confident at all. Yeah. As soon as I lost concentration, I just lose the car. So I'm not confident with this kind of setup right here. So I do believe, as I said, that this is a very soft setup. Indeed, it is very, very soft. 130, medium at the rear. Yeah, no, the rear is not so soft. So here's the idea why this is probably happening. Well, first of all, as I said, those cars are, you know, the normal race at Barcelona is midday, and usually Barcelona you have very, very hot weather. And we all know that Barcelona is extremely bad at tire wear, and especially the front outside tire, which is front left here. So probably because of the hot weather and the problems with tire wear, the team tried, you know, to make a soft setup to help the front tires, you know, help the car turn and help the front tires wear a little bit less. But we are here at 16 degrees only. It's very cold. We are having problems with oversteer everywhere, and the car is very soft. So what I'm gonna do, the first thing I would like to do is, you know, make the car stiffer. But before that, we know number two thing, the number two thing that the number two step that we need to do on the setup after the pressures is, you know, touch the air a little bit. So let's go back and do 2 clicks less rear right height. At the same time, I could already go to step 3 and make the car stiffer. Should I do it? I believe if I do 2 clicks here, it won't harm anybody. So let's go and do 2 clicks here and see how it goes. Voodoo always seems to have lots of bump bias. Bump bias at the rear. You mean on the dampers? Well, this one has more rebound. I'm not sure if you mean exactly that. Let me know. Yeah, Manson, of course. Later we can do a GT4. I think Sisi already asked for a couple of cars. If you have an idea, you want a car, we can do after this. We can do a GT4 car. Why not? We can do another GT3 car and then a GT4 car, or first the GT4 car and then whatever. Tonight it's relax night, and we try to have some fun, improve a couple of things, explain some things, and then call it a night. Optimum pressures for the tires of GT3 cars are around 27.5 psi, from let's say 27.3 to 28, somewhere in there between. Okay. The motor histograms. Well, don't let me start. I don't think the motor histograms really explain stuff, especially in GT3 cars. Probably it wasn't a very good idea that would put them in. I don't want to go into there tonight. Let's save it for another day. And possibly, I want to create a better template for the dampers, which is never gonna work, to be honest. But whatever. No, the Celtic, the anti-dive is a suspension geometry characteristic. So even if you put different wheel rates, it doesn't change. Okay. Now, obviously, the car is gonna dive less or more because the suspension will be stiffer or more. But the anti-dive per se is a suspension characteristic, suspension geometry. So it only changes if you change the suspension geometry. Panayotis, temperature. Ideal temperature is from 75 up to 95. It's practically flat. And then up to 105, you still lose practically nothing at all. Then it goes down, of course. Over 105, it goes down quite a bit. And it also goes down quite a bit when the tires are cold. Also, it's not just the grip, but also the characteristics of the mechanical, the flex of the tires, the slip angles, all that stuff changes if you are outside of the ideal temperature. So that also plays extra importance. Hello, Kanda. Zardier, drink. Okay, let's do a couple of laps. So we did practically step number 2. So I changed a little bit the rear right height, lower it to make the rear end of the car more stable aerodynamically, and I also stiffened the front suspension. So hopefully the car will not move around so much. But, let's see. Let's heat up the tires first. Seems a tiny bit better. But next DLC is at the end of the year or at the very, very start of next year, which is the British GT circuits. We are, creating 3 or 4 circuits, I don't remember. Oh, that seems stable here. Now, well, the Motec does give the reasonable data. The problem is that you expect reasonable data, and with high downforce cars, reasonable gets thrown out of the window most of the times, because often you use the dampers as very stiff suspension elements to control the car pitch. So that's why often you see an imbalance, especially towards bump, because you want the car to be stiffer and not go into pitch or squat as soon as possible, So that's one of the problems. Yeah, the car works because the car has a lot of um, anti anti-dive, a lot of anti-squat. It has very soft rear springs and wheel rates. So one way to control extra stuff is, by having the dampers very stiff. Ooh, come on. That's a lot of oversteer there. The pit zone limiter. Daniel, are you talking about PC or console? Please always specify, guys, because otherwise... Guys, always specify what you're talking about, because otherwise I cannot... It is a medium downforce track. Because you still have the very long straight, and you still have some very high speed corners that need to balance the car aerodynamically. So you might need, lower wing to make the car turn. Oh, I love racing without HUD, but I'll keep the HUD on so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, the car is better though. No doubt about that right now. Yeah, look at that. Now I have a slightly understeer in turn in, which might be a very easy fix. Let's see here. Oh, very stable. I like that. Ooh. About what, Levy? Let me do a couple of laps here so I can understand what the car does, and then, guys, I will reply some extra of your questions. Yeah, we're getting already faster. Whoop. Hello, Adam. I went in way too fast. That's okay, I kept it. Oh, again. Ooh. Ah. Bah. Blah. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Let's make some order, because you guys are asking way too much stuff. Generally, using a symmetric toe is a bad idea. Generally, except if you are, I don't know, in an oval. But generally, it is a bad idea. Um, so some extra questions before that. Uh, how can you keep the temperature on the rear left in that circuit? Uh, Well, you can't. That's the problem having one compound, So that's the compound. If your setup driving style is like that, you just have to stay more careful and take it more easier. Sometimes this is one of the things that sim racers are have not yet learned. In real life, if the tire simply cannot be made to work properly, the race engineer will expect from the driver, will tell the driver, will instruct the driver, you know what, your tires are overheating, take it easy, there's nothing else to do. And the race engineer expects from the driver to behave. And if the driver doesn't behave, you get what happened at Silverstone at Formula One, when pretty much everybody had issues, big issues, with the front left. But sim racers, we've learned for decades to drive on the numbers, and we also learned that, okay, if the tire is for whatever reason overheating, then I will do some magic trick on the setup or whatever, choose another compound, and here it is, it works again, and everybody's happy. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. If it's overheat, it overheats. It's up to you to stay in control. Waste some lap time, but keep the tire healthier and happier. So yeah, it's just like that. Yes, of course, changing downforce, brake ducts, and all that stuff will help you, but up to a point. After that, it's not much you can do. Um, all right, Levi. Yeah, got it. That. Uh, General simple rule in setup about understeer for more cars. Tony Sack, you have to check my playlist on how to understand your car and how to set up your car. It's really important. I believe if you check that playlist, you're gonna understand. Okay, the car does this, and to take care of that, I do the other thing. We are going through that on every live stream, but if you go in and check that playlist on my channel, it is practically numbered by step 1, pressure, step 2, right head, step 3, springs, and so on. Everything will be much more clear to you. Yeah. Mm, all right. How to distinguish between understeer because you're simply too fast and the setup induced understeer? That's a very nice question, and we have done a video about that, which I will show you if I remember where it is. But as I said, we made a video at Zandvoort explaining how to understand what your car does and what is your problem. And it's all about take it easy and analyzing turn by turn on a circuit what is going on. Let me find where it is. I think it is somewhere here. Yeah, this is it. So how to set up a car for your driving style. So this is for the Porsche, but it works pretty much everything. So go check that video afterwards, tomorrow, whatever. It's a long weekend, so try that. Quanta asymmetric camber, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. If you can find how to do it, you can use it. Uh, Now the forum, Daniel, the forum is the best way to get to give us bug reports. And we also have on the forum an explanation on what we need. We also need log files, where to find them, and so on. So you will see it on the top of the forum under the header. You will see the information on how to find the log files and how to put it on your post. Mm. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. So we are getting better. I was doing a lower 145 uh, lap time. How much is the maximum suspension travel of a real GT3? Uh, nothing really, like 40, 50, 60 millimeters, stuff like that, at most. But even that is free without the bump stops. In reality, you hit the bump stop much sooner than that. Like, after, on some cars, the front end is always on the bump stop, and then you have like 10 millimeters of compression. That's it, or 15 millimeters of compression. That's it. The rear has usually more suspension rates in order, to absorb the curbs and keep the traction going. Pit limiter button not working. It does work, but the pit limiter button only works in first gear, and on some GT4 cars also in second gear, but only in first gear. So you have to slow down to first gear to make it work. The Porsche setup, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Philip, no, the engine map. The usually the number one is the fastest, usually, except in a couple of cars, usually Porsches. But you can find all the information you need, and it's always good to remind this. And it is also always in the description of the videos. Here, guys, if you go into this forum, into this sub forum of our official forum, you will find all the information, official information about the cars, the features, and so on. One of them is also about the eco maps, and you can find them into this forum post for all the cars, all the eco maps, all the cars. Uh, Mayo, guy, I'm sorry, mate, but I don't know if you managed to see how fast the chat is moving. I'm reading whatever I have in front of me, so don't get offended, but it's not like we're doing it, because I don't want to reply you. It's strange that it doesn't work in race. It's really, I've never heard something like that before, ever. So either you have some button that it is affecting that, or I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if you can post a video on the forums, we can find out what is going on. But it is 99% something into the configuration of your buttons and keyboards or something like that. Daniel, is it worth it to use a loot file to change FFB? Depends. Honestly, if you have a Logitech, probably yes. Probably yes. uh, no worries, Mario, no worries. I have no idea about G923. I think Fernando tested it on our forums. He said they did something extra stuff on the drivers and stuff, and something on also the electric motor inside it, which seems interesting, but I don't know, honestly. I haven't tried it. Okay, so car is acting better. It still moves around a lot. So let's go with step number 3, and we'll lower a little bit the bump stop range. So let's go down to 10 so that we can make the front end go into the bump stop. And what we can do, we could also lower. No, let's leave it like that. Okay. Oh, no, Reza, not really, not really. But I know it is one of those things that people keep asking. Okay, so we did this here, and the electronics like this. The pressures are pretty good, almost, but we can work with that. Let me add a little bit of rear camber here because I really need some extra support, let's say. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's do a couple of laps. Let's see if we can, we can get down to low 25s, 45, sorry. Low 45s. That will bring us to a point that it is similar to the pace we had with the in the race. I think in the race I was using also traction control 3, but I don't remember anymore. Car is still a little bit nervous. Much better than before, but still a little bit nervous. Well, it happened the engine damage happened in 24-hour races because people were abusing way too much the downshifting, also exploiting a problem which we fixed into this latest patch, and now the gearbox waits for the gear change to happen before accepting another gear change. So that also will fix it, but obviously if you still keep abusing a lot the downshift, you might have some issues. I could do with some extra rear traction. Yeah, a little bit of extra rear stability would be great. Lap time's coming down though, which is good. Yeah, some extra. Yeah, I need some extra stability and it would be almost perfect. Oh yeah, here's a 45 low already. That's good. That's good. 45 too. And we're still with full fuel, so that's pretty good. Celtic, thank you so much, mate. Yeah, things are a little bit easier now, let's say. As a matter of fact, many of our developers have finally took some free time, to get some holidays, which is good for everybody. Yeah, I understand that you guys complained about BOP, but it's understandable, it's normal. We respect it, but if you're winning and complaining about the BOP, well, I mean, what else do you want? Come on, we have to be a little bit, also sincere to each other, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. All right, so the carrier is starting to react properly. It's starting to get faster. I like it. I would like, as I said, a little bit of extra rear stability. So we have two things that we could do. Either I can lower a little bit the rear right height, or I could raise the rear right wing, which is relatively low right now. Or I could raise the front right height. Now, decisions, as we say. Which thing should I do? Well, I could raise the rear wing, and that would make the whole car more stable and less pitch sensitive. But I do remember that during the race, at the early, at the start of the race, Gergo had issues with an Aston Martin, which we all know it's an amazing car, but not the fastest car on the straight. And no matter what he was trying to do, he couldn't, get the slipstream of the Aston Martin on the long straight, because if I remember, we had the rear wing 7 or 8, something like that. So it was pretty high. So I will try to stay on rear wing 5 and see, if I can exploit the fact that, I'm using low rear wing, so I have better acceleration and top speed. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise the front end by 1 and see if that's enough, because we know that the front end is even more pitch sensitive than the rear. I will raise it by 1 millimeter and maybe lower a little bit also the splitter in front. That would make the car less pitch sensitive, will probably give me some extra stability. And maybe that will also make the car less sensitive over the curbs, because right now I'm watching and seeing that the curbs, when I'm going with the car over the curb, the car tends to rotate a little bit too much. I would like the car to be more stable over the curbs. Maybe there is something also in here that makes the car, well, the rebound is a bit high. So maybe I could raise the bump and make the rebound a bit less. Maybe. We'll see. That's it for now. Possibly I will lower a little bit the bump stop range at the front, but maybe I can do that later. So let's try like that and see if the car gets even better. So, step by step, let's see if we can make that car go down to 45 flat. It would be nice. All right, so, oops. Well, the dampers are a very, very difficult thing to tune. That's why here we are doing basic work. We don't touch the dampers a lot. We don't check the telemetry, because, as I said, to start doing that stuff, you need to get up to a different level. You need to understand a lot about car dynamics. You need to know how to read the telemetry. All that stuff is very, very important. But what we're doing here is, okay, we accept the fact that, with the aggressive setup, we already have a very, very good base to be really fast, And because of that, we are practically just doing a couple of modifications on the setup in order to make the car, get closer to what we like as while driving. That's what we're doing here. And then, as usual, we focus on driving instead of modifying everything on the setup. So this is what we do usually in my live streams. Oops. Celtic, no, that thinking is not working for higher downforce cars. Actually, it doesn't even work for modern, even for GT3 Force anymore. This was a rule of thumb from the old 70s, 80s, 90s cars. Doesn't work anymore. Doesn't work like that anymore. Modern ray cars are more around 1:1 or they're closer. For certain, not 1 to 2. It doesn't work like this anymore. Yes, Cloud, more wing is absolutely a correct choice, absolutely. But as I was explaining before, I noticed that we had issues trying to overtake on the straights an Aston Martin, and we had a higher wing on the race. And this was an indication that if we can make a setup as fast as the race setup that we had, but with less wing, that would also give us the opportunity, to overtake other cars during the race, which is always a good thing. I'm not saying it will work, but it is worth a try, Thank you, Rocco. Oh, that's over the curbs is better. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's better. We are also a little bit faster here. Nice. Yeah, that was on my bad. Much better here. Too wide. That was some strange understeer over there, and I've completely messed up everything. Right, let's do it again. How much difference there is from AC1? Quite a bit, quite a bit. We have, well, the most evident difference is that instead of 1 point touching the ground and simulating the whole, footprint, now we have 5 points touching the ground, and all of them simulate the footprint in a much more realistic way. But that is a collision difference, so it understands collision between the asphalt and the tire much better, and doesn't, make big mistakes about it, as it was happened in the initial versions of Assetto Corsa Competizione, and of course in Assetto Corsa 1 still. But most importantly, we have many actual tire model differences. Like we have a tire model that now flexes in 3 dimensions. So it flexes longitudinally, laterally, up and down, of course, as before. We have much better thermal model, so tire heat is functioning much better. Brakes influence the thermal model. What else? We have more layers, even more layers, because Assetto Corsa had already quite a bit of layers of temperatures, but now we have even more layers. What else do we have? Yes, of course, obviously we have the water simulation, which the tire obviously is very active. We have the tire scrubbing when you are using way too much your steering inputs. There are many things that work much better and simulate much better in Assetto Corsa Competizione for the tires only. Ah! My bad here. Car is a little bit understeery right now. It is faster. I believe I can do the 44s. Haha, Tur! I want to try to open the differential a little bit. Ah, the car still moves around too much on some occasions. So let's go back. Hello, Zan. How you doing, mate? Congrats for all the championships that you keep winning everywhere. What is the 3 icon bar to the left of the tire temps? It's I'll show you. To the left, so you have lights. So now it's off, switch off. Normal lights, highlights, high beam. Then you have the rain light, plop. Now it's on. And then you have the indicators, left and right. So indicators here, indicators there. Now we have all 4 of them flashing. And this is it. So this is it mainly. I hope this explains. Oops. Okay. Turn to garage. Let's see, what else do we have here? Why looks suspension this stiff while cars bouncing up and down in real life? Well, I don't really understand exactly what you say, but it might be that the real life track has some modulations, or you see some modulation of the real cars that because of the graphic system here they get flattened out, because in the end your any simulator works in a frequency, and some movements on the replay might get averaged. Maybe, I don't know if that's what you mean. Topax, I'm just improving the Mercedes here. We are almost done because it's pretty good, and then I'll get into another car. I don't know yet what. Drogan, I don't remember anymore. I think Kyalami is something around mid to high downforce. So I would go towards high wing angles. Because in the end it only has one straight line, right? No, not the KTM. Come on, guys. All right, so I want to lower some extra clicks the front bump stop range, so 6 maybe, so that I go into the bump stop range sooner. And then what else? What can we do? Yeah, I don't think Kyalami. I mean, it's full of left and right turns, just one very long straight, but not really that long in the end, isn't it? So go with higher downforce. Dampers are pretty much okay. The aero, we talk about it. It's like that. Let's put that down to 50 and see what happens. Okay. Let's try it. Let's try this. Pop. Let me check here. Come on, guys. 15,951 subscribers. Let's do 60,000. Come on. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can do. If you can do a 44 high, then we are ready to switch car. Hello, Haosian Lee. Thank you so much, mate. Let's go to that 60,000 number. Yeah, Panayoti, I just did that. Philip Anderson, thank you guys. Yeah, let's go. Oh, some understeer here. Not so much traction. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, to be honest, Brian, I don't need any more subscribers. I mean, the guys, you are here, you're such a great company, and we can say and do so much stuff, so I'm really, really happy. Plus, we already having, we start having the haters on the comment section, so we don't need that. We just need to stay, as close friends and enjoy our live streams, right? So who cares in the end? Yeah. All right. Lele non lo so, però sì, prima o poi ne faremo un altro. Ovviamente non li posso fare tutte le volte, ma prima o poi sì. Haprodon, thank you, mate. Messed up here. Again. It's a little bit on the understeery side. Oh, thank you, Celtic. Yeah, a little bit on the understeery side. But kind of seems fast. I mean, second lap already, we are in 45.2, which is good. Come on. Yeah, I can see the 44 already. That was much better over there. Nice. Ooh, that's fast. Yeah. Oh, that's very fast. Now look at that lap time. Wow, 44.3. Woohoo! That's pretty impressive. And I'm not even, concentrating that much as I was during the race. Let's see if we can do another 44. Wow, 44 lows. I wasn't expecting that. Wow, impressed. I will go a little bit backwards with the brake bias. No, didn't like that here. It is a little bit understeery, but it has so much more traction. That's my mistake. Let me do a lap with. No, it is. I mean, it's so good. But if I could find a hint of front end grip, just a hint. Wow, that was impressive actually. So if I could just find a hint of front end, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's try 3.6 here, right? And I don't know. maybe lower one click the rebound. Yeah, just yeah. Let's save this setup. Let's save this setup. So this is Barcelona, Merck, T 17 degrees. Okay, so A ambient 17, T 17, and this is race 1. Let's call it that way, race 01. And of course, this setup, I will, copy that to our usual G drive shared folder. Yeah, Drogan, yeah, Formula One mustache. So let me go. I don't think I'm gonna do again a 44.3. I mean, wow, what a lap! I was like dumb. I don't know what I did. Probably more driving than car. I don't know how, but it happened. But if I can do another 44 mids, and the car, reacts better. Kwanda, nice. That could be, a great idea. No, I cannot use that as an aggressive setup because, as you see, it's very cold. And as I said, the aggressive all the preset setups are normally setups made for 27 to 30 degrees ambient and 33 to 35 degrees track temperature. So yeah, so they're different. Ooh. Don't. Yes, Gasper. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, real drivers usually complain that in the sim, it seems they cannot rely on the ABS as much as they do in real life. In real life, it seems they rely on the ABS even more during the turn-in. I'm not sure yet. I'm not 100% sure if that is because they don't have, the G-forces or if it's actually the case. The telemetry seems to show that we are very, very close, but sensations are important to a driver. So hey, Bad Motor Finger, thank you for the follow. Sì, Lele, assolutamente sì. Step 3. Vedi che I'm faster. No worries, Gasper. Ooh, too much front end. Too much. But here is so much better. But I have a bit of lower rear pressure, so let's see. After one more lap maybe. Front end is much better now, for sure. You see what little differences, a couple of clicks, what difference it can make on the setup. You don't need to do big differences because otherwise the setup changes so much, the handling of the car changes so much that you cannot really understand what is going on and if it's better or if it's worse. So one click at a time and you're gonna have results, No, actually it's Well, probably most of people would have said that it is understeering now, but I feel it. I feel the front end much better. Oof. I upshifted by mistake. I didn't want to upshift it. I don't know how I upshifted. I've lost half a second because of that. Yeah, they are both very important. No, I'm losing time because I'm not so confident to push the car anymore. It was better before. No, Andrea, l'editor che abbiamo è quello che... Beh, di nuovo, parliamo di PlayStation 4, di console o di PC? Oh, I'm lapping in 45 low, so... Setups are good. Nice. Ooh. Nice. Another 44 low. Holy. 44.5. And I'm not so confident with that setup, so I will go back a click, you know. So I will go back to 3.5 here. And dampers, what did we do? Yeah, I'll go that's it. That's our setup. So where is it? Where's it? This one? So let's make this 0.2 and right here stability. Oops. Yeah, stable. Okay. Okay, so let's save that. So then I will post it. You guys can try it and stuff like that. I'm pretty happy, to be honest. I mean, let's look at the replay. That was a pretty impressive lap time, honestly. Where was it? Here. No, it wasn't that. Oh yes, that was it. That was a nice lap. I did 2 times 44 laps, much faster than my actual race laps. No problem. Thank you, Kowalski. Thank you so much, mate. Lele non lo so dove finiscono, non lo so. Devo chiedere a chi ha fatto il porting della console e vedere se in futuro magari riusciranno a, capito, ad abilitarlo. Drogon, yes, mainly that is the main problem. So more negative camber, it's bigger tire wear, but it can happen that too much negative camber might give you less grip. So it works up to a limit, and then it gets worse again. It's into a range. Usually, most of the cars feel very good to around -4 degrees camber. But some cars, really a couple of cars here and there, like the Mercedes, they have a lot of camber gain. So when the suspension moves up, you gain a lot of camber. And so you don't need to use as much static negative camber. So when you start from the pits, you don't need so much, negative camber, because when you go to the turns, it still keeps a lot of the negative camber that it has. Emanuele non mi ricordo, 43 mi sembra buono, ma non mi ricordo, sono sincero, non lo so. Beh, metti che ti posso dire, magari metti la I a 100%, vedi che tempi fa. Di solito gli alieni riescono ad andare un po' più forte della I, così hai un'idea, però mi sembra buono 43,5. Alright, so first part of the live stream, great success. So let's go back. Sometimes yes, Mayo. Sometimes I change caster. Here it is already to the maximum, so almost. So uh, again, usually, as Brian says here, follow the steps: pressures, ride heights, springs, and bump stops, and stuff like that. Those are the 3 steps. And then fine tuning with a little bit of extra camber or some dampers, some stuff like that. But if you follow those steps, I guarantee you, if you go through the step number 1 and step number 2, so pressures and ride heights, you're gonna instantly find a car that you like, and then you build and try to get better. Yeah, Celtic. Yeah, Harperdon, that seems pretty much correct. Adel, you are a software developer and huge racing fan. Any suggestions how to merge the two goods? Suggestions. Well, obviously, if you have code that has to do with sim racing, ring the bells of all development teams. Kunos, the Air Factor guys, iRacing, all those guys. Just ring the bell. Says, can I send you my curriculum, CV, and show you some of my code and how I resolve problems. Usually, from what I know, development teams like ours, when they need someone, because otherwise, if they are already full, they will tell you, unfortunately, we don't hire. Sorry about that. I hope it's not COVID. Sorry about that, guys. They will just tell you, we don't have a place right now. But if they are interested, then usually step number 2 is you're gonna do an interview with the leader programmer, and the leader programmer might give you some problem to solve with code, and then it will check the code to see if it's clean enough, good enough, fast enough, all that stuff. So this is usually how it works. Rosso Sim Racing, no, non direi. non direi, perché la macchina è sempre, sorry, the car is always, a complete package. One of the errors that people do with setup is that they usually, as you said, they focus on, okay, I have understeer, which means the front end doesn't have enough grip. So let's make all the changes on the setup to the front end in order to have more grip. Sorry again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because it might be that your understeer issue comes from the rear end. So, for example, maybe you have way too much traction at the rear, so the setup has lots of traction at the rear, and the rear end, grabs and pushes the front end out into understeer. So, Celtic, yeah. Um, Remus, I don't know about that, mate. If that is a bug again, official forums as usual, please report with bugs and everything and logs. So yeah. Drink, guys. Ryan mentioned the Nords. No, Samuel, it is impossible to simulate proper flow analysis because it simply cannot be done real time in both in a meaningful way, and especially if you also have, in the meantime, all those graphics and sounds moving on. So we do the flow, or we get the aero map. Usually, we get the aero map from the manufacturer, and then we put all the data into the tables, and the tables are much faster to work around. There are some extra stuff that is happening in real time, so we have some extra lag on how the flow goes back and forth. We have some extra stuff on how the car moves up and down and what that creates to the flow underneath, the slipstream flow, and stuff like that. But again, we're talking about basic stuff that it is, usually and mainly racing simulators try to simulate the end result. For example, we do not simulate the whole chemistry of the rubber in order to make the rubber stick to the surface. We simulate the end result, which is how the grip changes when everything else is dynamic. And pretty much everybody does the same, because otherwise you get to solve way too big problems that are impossible to solve in real time, and most importantly, you don't have enough data to know what, because you can have the best physics engine of the world, but garbage in, garbage out. So you have to make your physics engine in a way that you can find real life data, put it in, and validate if the end result is similar to reality. Emanuele, beh, allora sei veloce, ma il surriscaldamento, come dicevamo prima, è quello che è, nel senso che non abbiamo qui diversi compound, perciò devi cercare di risolvere con la guida o andare con la guida oltre il problema e essere veloce nonostante il surriscaldamento. È così. Wet racing lines are already inside. No, Lars, it doesn't work like that. So Lars asks, how does the slipstream work in the game? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a fixed distance in seconds that it affects the car. Not at all. It has a distance which is affected by the front car, surface area, frontal area, and the rear car also frontal area. It is also affected by the width of the car and all that stuff. And the closer you get, of course, the more you get slipstream. Also in Assetto Corsa Competizione, not only the front car, the following car is affected by the slipstream, but also the leader car is affected by the slipstream. So if you are very close to the leading car and you keep on following it by staying very, very close, you gain some speed, but also the front car will start gaining some extra speed because it will have less drag, because the flow will continue to the car behind it. So yeah, it's pretty dynamic. I think we've made a pretty good job on that. um, Making mods is one of the best ways to get into the industry. Absolutely, absolutely. I also got into the industry by making mods. So yeah. Whistle, whatever. I'm terribly sorry to hear that the force feedback is terrible in ACC, but I also have so many people saying that it is one of the best for force feedback. So I know that they have already released a patch. Maybe you need to, reconfigure the system and make sure that everything is configured properly. Because if so many people saying that it's good, and we also have some people saying that it's terrible, then the many people explain that okay, it works. So the fact that some people have problems doesn't mean that those problems do not exist. They exist, but maybe with a different configuration and some fiddling around and asking the forums, you might find a solution. uh, um, Emanuele, può darsi che non l'ho visto, perché mi dispiace, cioè, arrivano veramente, puoi immaginare, a centinaia al giorno e a volte qualcosa mi sfugge, ti chiedo scusa. All right, so okay, let's do for fun a GT4 car. Okay, so GT4 car. You guys asked for the BMW. We can do the Mercedes, maybe that is a GT4 car instead of the GT3. We can do the Ginetta. You said. So what should it be? Come on, let me know. Let's do a GT4. Le aperture dei freni innanzitutto raffreddano i freni, e se i freni diventano troppo freddi diventano più fredde anche le gomme. Se i freni si surriscaldano anche le gomme dall'interno. Cambiano leggermente ovviamente anche il drag, perciò la resistenza aerodinamica cambia, perciò se hai i freni, i ducts molto aperti, la macchina ha un po' di aerodinamica peggiore, ma di pochissimo, veramente, veramente poco. Whistle, whatever. As I told you, we are not doing the porting in the consoles. We are trying to, respect the times, the deadlines that the porting team has on Assetto Corsa Competizione. I can assure you that that team reads the forums. They have already released a patch, but patches takes time, and not only takes time to develop it, but also takes time to make the submission to Sony and Microsoft, which takes about two weeks usually. So they are keep working on it. I'm pretty sure they will definitely improve it. New versions also are coming for with the extra DLCs and everything. So I mean, even the PC version at first we had our own fair issues, and now it's very mature. But software development, game development takes time. It's now no other way around it. BMW. Okay, BMW wins. BMW. Quanda. Get lost. Okay, BMW wins then. So let's get our friends here from Borusan, which are always very, very helpful. Yes, I know my Greek fellows, but they have been really, really helpful. Really, really good guys, good guys. So lots of support to them. Should we go again to Barcelona? um, Speak to the bot. Yes. Actually, Celtic. I'm gonna do a lots of training at with the Porsche Cayman GT4 because I am going to participate on in October. In October, I will be running at SimSport. Sorry again, SimSport Racing Endurance. SimSport Racing Endurance on 3rd October. On 3rd of October, we're going to do a 12 hours multi-class endurance race. So GT3 and GT4s together, and I will be racing with a Porsche with some guys from the championship, and it is a charity fundraiser for better mental health. So I do recommend everybody to have a go to let me write it here. So go to www.sim sorry, how is it that? Because I don't remember. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. So simsport racing.com. So go there, find everything, show your support. Those guys deserve it. And remember, 3 October, we're going to do a 12-hour multi-class racing. And I'm going to driving into a GT4 Cayman. So we're going to do a lot of practice on that car at Nürburgring. All right. So, Καλησπέρα, Γιώργο. Okay, so yeah, let's do a couple of laps. Actually, I have no idea what. Let's go early in the morning. Alex, so Alex asks, is it better to adapt a setup from a track to another, or to go back to the aggressive preset and tweak from there? Obviously, GT3 cars have more specific setups per track. Okay, so for GT3 cars, I would definitely try at least once the aggressive setup. I would also try what you said. So, copy a good setup that you have from another track and try it. But I would also try the aggressive setup. GT4 cars are based on, mechanical grip mainly. And so if you have a very good track, if you have a very good setup from another track, just get that, put it into the new track, check the tire pressures, and work from there, because I believe it makes more sense. That's why also GT4 cars have, on many tracks, have pretty much the same setup from one track to another. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough, because in the end it's mechanical grip and balance. So that's it. Hey, Ricky. Nice. Bravo. Ευχαριστώ ρε Παναγιώτη. Να είσαι καλά. Φτού. Adel Sabik, the default setups on the game are based on the actual real setups of the car whenever we could, or by trying to bring the same ideas from one track to another. And I have done all the setups, so I'm starting from the setup that I have from the real car, and try to see if it works properly instantly, or if it needs some changes here and there. From obviously, usually I get just one base setup, and I get the base setup of the manufacturer, which usually becomes the safe setup. Sometimes I might need some changes from track to track on the base setup, so I do everything myself, and then I go from that to make the aggressive setup, again following the feedback I get from the real teams. And if I don't have for a specific track and car combination, then I will do it myself. SG, I don't know. It could be many things. It's difficult to understand what. I mean, does it bounce? What do you mean? I don't know. Yasu Nikumura. Uh, uh, if your car has little rear mechanical grip, well, obviously, let's in the meantime go inside. Γιώργο, καλησπέρα. Και ναι και όχι. Τα GT4 είναι πιο εύκολα στο setup και σε όλα, αλλά πρέπει να ξέρεις να ντριφτάρεις και λίγο, γιατί γλιστράνε. SG, maybe we can, address this thing better, or maybe send me a message, or also, a video or something, so I can see it, and then on the next live stream we can address that thing. Thank you, Adel. Okay, so aggressive setup. Who was the guy that asked the mechanical grip? So maybe you don't have enough traction, you don't have enough mechanical grip. Usually, a lower wheel rate on a GT4 car will make the rear end softer, and that will give you some extra grip. You can also work with dampers. Higher rebound dampers at the front and lower bump damping at the rear will give you more traction. And if you go to the right height, if you raise the front end, that will change the the balance, the suspension geometry front and rear, and will give you less grip at the front, which will transform as more traction at the rear. Catamaps sì, sono tarate su 27 gradi, 30 gradi ambiente e 33-35 asfalto. No, Daniel, the traction control is way more intelligent, way more intelligent. It will try to find out if there is actually slide, if there is spin, if there is yaw angle, and depending on what is happening, then it will trigger. If it sees that the yaw angle is remain stable and the driver can control it with the inputs, then depending also on the level, it will not trigger and let you move forward, or it will just trigger for just a little bit, tack tack tack, just to keep you on the angle and let you move on. Celtic, no, I don't think so, because it doesn't really make sense. It would, need a whole recreation. I mean, there are much more important things that I would like to do than putting aero variations on GT4s that, honestly, it doesn't make sense at all. Even because, for example, oh, here there is a bug. I have to eliminate the dot zero here. Good thing. I have to take a note of that. Let me write that here. So 8.80. Okay. For example, in GT4 cars, if you raise the rear, right, you will probably see the aero variation remaining the same, or even going towards the back. Why is that? Because the car are not so much speed sensitive. When you raise the rear of the car, the rear wing goes higher and into a much into a bigger angle, and as such the aerodynamic stays identical or even moves a tiny bit to the rear. So it will confuse a lot of people, and that's why we just simply eliminate it. Hapdon, it doesn't create issues with aerodynamics. I mean, yes, a little bit, but well, first of all, you need to know that it depends where you get your your ride heights measurements. So sometimes it might be that the measurement is a little bit inside the chassis, and so it gives you a different idea of how the car stays. But the most important thing is that the GT4 cars don't really have high downforce. It's like not even a third of GT3 cars in terms of downforce. So the mechanical grip is much more important, and because of the BOP, the ride height is limited in pretty high levels, and it is also limited in strange ways. So that's why you see some negative rake. And teams have found out that, you know what, it's better to have a negative rake with a lower center of gravity instead of having, the rear end of a car like, the Alpine, for example, that you get normal rake, but the rear end is higher for that, and so you get higher center of gravity. So, yeah. I don't know, Mark. Honestly, no idea. Optimal PSI for GT4s is around 27, 26.7, 27.3, somewhere there, somewhere around there. Lars, it's all down to technique. Something you are doing with the steering wheel and the braking, unstables the car. No, it's static color mayo. Sorry. Okay, so let's have a couple of laps with the car and see how it reacts.
Green light, go, go, go. Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
As usual, GT4 cars, guys, you really have to be very careful. At the first laps, don't go over the curbs too much because because of the rules. The GT4 cars do not have tire warmers, and so the tires start with a very low temperature, and because of that the pressure is also very low, and you have to do at least a couple of laps to bring the tires up to temperature. Drink. What am I doing? I don't know. Okay. Guys, keep in mind something about the GT4 cars. So all GT4 cars have usually the street gear ratios, which means that usually one gear from the other have quite a bit of a distance, of a gap. So it pays usually to not downshift to a very low gear, stay a gear up, because when you downshift into a much lower, so if I put second gear here, you see it doesn't even enter, and when I finally enters, it brings so much revs that obviously it's gonna unstable the car. So for example, with the BMW, you practically need 3 gears here at Barcelona, so third, fourth and fifth, that's it, and that's how you should drive it. It might be that with the Porsche, you're trying to downshift way too much. Just keep higher gear and see if that fixes the thing. I mean, look at that, third gear in here, and the car is perfectly balanced. No worries, Daniel. We try to improve every little bit. When you open what, Mark? Sorry? See, second gear here, maybe. Probably it's not. I'm driving really badly right now. Mark Jansen, if you want to tell me what creates more drag. Yes. Well, yes, there is a difference, but it's really. I mean, yeah, obviously aliens will tell you, oh no, there's a tons of a difference, but aliens, take advantage of every tiny little bit they can. There is a difference, of course, but it's not something, if you can gain 1 kilometer per hour at Pori car between fully open and fully closed, or maybe 2 kilometers per hour, that's it. That's it. So it is there. It also affects downforce. So closed ducts give you some extra downforce, but the change is so subtle that I doubt you will feel it in lap time, honestly. Yeah, exactly. The main thing is, having the correct brake ducts so that your brakes are in the correct temperature while you are braking. That's what you should think. You shouldn't think on brake ducts as, to gain time because of the aerodynamics. You should think about them on, okay, do I keep my brakes on the correct temperature, or do I have fade? Do I have very cold brakes? What is going on, So that's what you should do. No worries, mate. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing the live chat, the live stream. Ooh. I keep driving very badly. Haven't done a proper lap time for now. But what I can see here is car is understeering a little bit, but it could be the tire pressures, which are very low right now. Ooh. Okay, let's go in and fix the tire pressures. First things first. So, step number 1, tire pressures. So 26 here. I want to go to 27. Yes, 27. So 1 and 20.8. That's it. Okay. And here, that's very low. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 more psi. So 22.7. All right. And here is 26. So we go to 21.3. And here is 1, 2, 3, and then 22.9. All right, so pressures should be more or less brake ducts. Well, Lars, I'm afraid to tell you that the 720 is one of the most difficult cars to set up and drive hard. But if you can do it, it's one of the most rewarding. It's really, really fast. SSG. Yeah, it's all connected, Adel. It's all connected. So everything does something somewhere. As in reality. All right, so let's do another lap.
Low tire pressure. Stay clear of the curbs.
The 650 has very good downforce, but lacks power a lot. Change my mind. Quack quack. Yeah, now we have quack quack. So the car has a tendency to go into understeer in coasting, and then it rotates when I give the accelerator. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Wow. Completely lost focus and what I was doing. I simply forgot to drive. We should change the gear shift sounds with quack. So imagine that. Go like that and quack 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 quack. Ridiculous. Quack 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 quack. Quack quack. Quack. Single quack for upshift, double quack for downshift. We should do that for April's Fools. Quack quack quack. Quack quack quack. 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 Does anyone has any lap times to give me for Barcelona with the BMW, so I have an idea what I'm doing, because I feel like I'm doing terribly bad.
Well done, mate. Personal best.
It should have been opposite SG, because we're talking about, well, so 155, 1. Thank you, CD and Stenbrot. Thank you guys for subscriptions. 53. Ooh, have a lot of time to gain. 53 is a long way to go. Okay, so it seems that the pressures are coming good. They are still a little bit low, but we'll see in a minute. Mark thought for sure consider doing it. Probably, for frame rate reasons, probably not, because dust and stuff like that is one of the things that, at least on how we do it, it takes some frames. Right. Well, Niels is, a different kind of guy. I mean, so I cannot compare myself to Niels. So I'm 1 second slower than Niels. I can take that. But okay, let's see what we can do. Now, one thing that SG might have, thinking probably here, is that on some cars you need a stiffer front end to, on the BMW you lose lots of camber when you're turning, so it might be better to have a stiffer thing. But let's do this. Let's go up here a little bit, not to to generate different downforce, or because, as we said, those cars do not really move way too much. They're not so much pitch sensitive, but we will try to raise the right height at the rear, so that we also raise the center of rotation. So basically, the suspension, by raising it, becomes also stiffer, and that might help us rotate the car a little bit more. So let's go up to 86. The preload differential is already very low. We might go up to 114 here, but we will do it later. So let's play with this. Pizza Manji Productions. No, we are not implementing live weather. It is something we considered at first, and we decided to not do it for a very specific reason. Because usually drivers, sim racers, play during the night and also during the winter, whatever. Uh, the GT3 cars have just one compound, and that compound is made by Pirelli to fit pretty much all cars and all the ambient conditions that you can find, with just a little bit of extremes up and down. So this is I know that people complain, well, but the Pirelli tires are not so high performance as the Michelin's, for example, in GTE. But you have to consider one thing: the Pirelli tires are amazing, and you know why they're amazing? Because they manage with just one compound to fit all cars and make them work from 10 degrees up to 50 degrees, of track surface. And even they even work to 0 degrees track surface up to 50. And they work into this very, very wide range of temperatures with, pretty good results. Obviously, they still have a best range somewhere around 20 degrees of track surface temperature, but you can still make them work in such a wide temperature range. So from this kind of aspect, and obviously costs limiting aspects, they're amazing tires. But because of that, we decided to not put live track and limit the temperatures to realistic values, because in the winter you might find the track, you might go to Nürburgring or to Spa, and you might find that the real weather has the temperature at I don't know, minus 10 degrees or minus 15 degrees. So this is a no-no, and this is one of the reasons why we don't do it. Obviously, you might ask, okay, do it live, but limit the temperatures to whatever range you want. There are some aspects of software development that, when you have the experience, you really need to take into account. And one of those aspects is that you try at least to never give to the user the impression that the software is bugged, right? So when a user sees that, okay, the live weather says that the temperature is minus 10, and instead the software gives him plus 10, because for, or plus 5, whatever range, next thing he will do, unfortunately, is that he will go to the forums or to the Facebook or whatever, and he will say, oh, there's a bug, you have to fix it, and then you have to explain it and everything and stuff like that. So to avoid some of these kind of discussions, sometimes in software development you take some specific decisions to not go over some, you take some specific decisions. This is one of them, because simply it makes everybody's life easier. It's not worth it, That's it. Uh, yeah. Right, the DAS, yeah. Quanda, Langards. Langards, mate. All right, so let's do a couple of more laps. Fog, yes, fog is something I would like to have. That's true. Who knows? But yeah. Aris talks a lot is back. All right, let's go for another lap.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
Hey, Altrag, you have to make a decision. That's it. You cannot really know until you go out and see if you are faster or slower and what the others do. That's how it is in real life. Some people take take the risk, and the risk sometimes pays and sometimes it doesn't. If you want to play it safe, wait and see what everybody else is doing. Whoa. No worries, Pizza Man. Pizza mangi, sorry. Mate Lars, I wish I knew myself. I wish I knew also for myself. Unfortunately, it's not the case. DRM Racing, they telling me something around 54s is decent around here. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Ooh, I locked the tires. Well, as I said, my setups are, obviously are made for my driving style. Again, here I forgot to break it earlier. But I never, take them into I'm never making them very extreme. And my mentality is that if I cannot attack the racetrack with my setup, then it's no use. Okay, and because I'm not such a good driver as an alien, it usually my setups, suit many people. It's always have been the case because I try to make stable setups that you can attack, which they are neutral. They don't have too much understeer, but still help you get out of bad situations. And usually, I think there are good setups, at least to get them and have them as a base, and see whatever laps you can do. And as you saw, all it takes is a couple of clicks to make it more or less understeery. So, especially with the GT3 cars, you do one click at the rear, right height, and you instantly have a car that is more or less understeery or more or less oversteery. And I'm pretty sure that you can find a solution that suits you very, very well without, fiddling way too much with setups. Oh, finally. Yeah, lost time. Ah. Wow, too much curb. Lost time. Well, 54.6. We are getting better.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best.
Oh, Lars, so unlucky. Dorifto. GT4 cars, you miss the braking point, you're dead practically. Quack quack. Quack quack, Wency. Have a good night. Pressures are a little bit on the high end at the front. So here's, we can find some grip at the front from the pressures. I can say Dorifto. What downforce? Whoa. What I think about the price of the GT4, good value. They are 11 cars. I mean, okay, let me go through this one more time. So, okay, we're at 54.6. So, I guess everybody that plays, and this is not just for the GT4 cars. I mean, this is the whole software industry and the whole users and how their perceptions of prices. So I guess if you're playing on your PC, you have a PC and a monitor, which we all know is quite a bit of a price. Consoles, okay, even consoles have quite a price. You probably have a good joypad, or you have a steering wheel, which is even higher price, right? You have your headphones and whatever. And then you have your games. Now, your games is what gives you a fun experience, and entertainment for minimum, and I would say really minimum, a week. A week. Usually, especially sim racers, they get entertainment for the titles for months, if not years. And the price of the entertainment is, because nobody forces you to buy a DLC, the price of the entertainment is something around 30, 40, 50 euros, depending on the game. Sometimes on sales, even 20 euros. So you pay 30 euros, which is like, at least here in Europe, going out for cinema and taking a couple of beers and maybe a pizza or something, or a hamburger or something like that. And you go out just for a night, while for the software you are paying 40 euros and you get entertainment for months. Bare minimum is months, all right? So, and we're still here discussing, oh, is it a good value if a DLC that will give you entertainment for months is priced as 20 euros? I mean, there's really a big gap. I understand that it's not a criticism of the users. It's a culture thing that still software doesn't get the respect and the value from its own users that it should get. It's, if you have something material on your house, a mouse costs 40 euros. Well, it is a mouse. Software, it's not something I can keep on my hands. It's something, it's an idea, so it's not good value or something like that. So there is this basic problem. Let's say it's a culture problem that software still, and also because of piracy. Everybody has done at least once some piracy, especially when you are very young. So you are used in a mental thing that okay, software, I can get it also almost for free or for free. And when you have to pay money for it, you don't really think, okay, what is what I'm getting back from those 40 euros. If you think that you're getting, I won't even say months, I would say some weeks of entertainment, it's already way more than films, than music, than whatever, than eating or getting out with your friends and go for, I don't know, I don't know, whatever you can do to get entertainment. So um, yeah, and I'm not saying that only for ACC and the DLC. It's true for everybody. And I mean, I know, guys. For example, everybody says, "Oh, iRacing is so much, it's pricey." No, honestly, it isn't. It isn't. Obviously, if you don't want or you can't afford it, you don't get it. It's not like you are, forced to get it. But if you can afford it, it isn't. It's entertainment, and you pay for the entertainment. They have a different kind of you know economic policy, but in the end, if you think how much entertainment you get back, it's more than fair. Anyway, uh, so we are in 54.6. We have a setup that it's not that bad. It could get much, much better, I'm pretty sure. We saw that we were a little bit high here, so maybe let's go down by 2. And hey, thank you, Cypher. Thank you, Cypher. Zaz, CD Keys, Greenman Gaming, All You Play, etc. So here's the deal with that. I would like to talk about that. I'm not so well informed about that, but that's personal opinion, and from what I know, I might also be ill informed. So okay, so take it with a pinch of salt, as they say. Be very careful. Again, I don't want to hear that in various forums and groups that Aris said that this is like that and like this, but it's not true. I already admitted I might be wrong, but um, as you know, Steam offers an amazing thing. It offers different prices on different places of the world in order to accommodate different um, buying power from the user. So we all know that on some countries of the world, the user has less economic possibilities, and so the price of, say, 20 euros for the DLC might be too high. So Steam uh, um, lets you put different prices. It also creates that automatically for the developers, so that on some places in the world, the actual price of the game is lower. Right now, first of all, I do remember that on those countries, Assetto Corsa Competizione had an extremely low price, lower than everything else. It was really, really low. And unfortunately, has been made a decision by our publisher to raise the price just at the same time with the DLC. That was probably a not so intelligent move, but it happened. Um, but it was already in the plans because it was extremely low. Now, what is going on? Those kind of G2A and Kingwing and those sellers, they go and get lots of Steam codes from those countries, and then they transform them and they sell them everywhere, worldwide. And that means that the goodwill of a developer that says, you know what, we know that on some countries the prices should be lower, and this is goodwill by the developer because the developer is also free to make identical prices all around the world. So the developers say, okay, we understand, some people won't be able to buy the game at the European price or at the American price or at the United Kingdom price. Let's make it lower for the guys on other countries. And then those sellers, third-party sellers. They go and buy it on those low prices. They sell it worldwide on higher prices than those low prices, but still lower than the full price of the game in Europe, so to say. And so obviously European users, they don't know exactly what is going on. They see a lower price, they go and buy it from there. And so in the end, the developer loses a lot of money, because it's not the price that the developer has decided to sell the product for. And at the end, you get some developers or some publishers that they see that and they decide, what, okay, if that's the kind of the game that you play, everybody, so we're going to raise the prices also in other countries. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened with Assetto Corsa, because as I said before, the initial price was very, very low, very, very low, lower than all the other simulators. But it is something that happens with lots of games, because honestly, those Kinguin, Z2A, and so on sellers, they gain money on on the heads of developers, on the heads of users that uh, could make very good use uh, of the low prices in the countries and stuff like that. And if you think about it, I mean, uh, come on, even if you are a normal user. Now, I understand that a normal user doesn't care about anything. The only thing that it cares for is go and get the game in a low price. Fair enough. But you have a game that costs 40 euros, let's say, and you have the sellers like that they sell the game at 30 euros or at 28 euros, and then you have the actual developer that sells the game under Steam sales at 29 euros, and you still go and get it from the seller to get a €1 lower price. Come on, guys, I mean, help the developers in the end of the story. And obviously, again, that's not an offense or a critic to the users. I know why you do it. I know that it seems, and you don't know the whole story behind it, but I just wanted to point out that in the end, those sellers are just taking advantage of developers' goodwill, publishers' goodwill, other countries that have lower economic power, and they, in the end, they make a bad thing for everybody, for just a couple of euros of sales. So yeah. Yeah, I believe getting. I mean, if we wanted to be on a different app store, we would have been. Steam is great for us. That's where we are. So that is the choice of the developer. So if you want to really support us, go to Steam and buy it. No, yeah, Altrag, you're right. I'm not justifying. I'm just trying, to explain the whole situation, because I'm also aware that many people do not know exactly how things work. No, no worries, Josh. Actually, thank you for letting me explain that stuff. Thank you for letting me explain that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Glad for you, Martin. That's one of the reasons. I mean, we know that poor Argentina, amazing country, really love that country and its culture and everything, and still in so much trouble. Not really deserved to have so much economic trouble. So this is one of the reasons why Steam offers better pricing for Argentina. Oh yeah, Celtic. That's another truth point. I mean, the Steam market is such a niche. It's a niche of a niche of a niche, especially Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is only one kind of series. It's a niche into a niche into a niche. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Kwanda. All right. So what are we doing here? I think I've proved a little bit, but I mean, you saw me. I don't know if you guys want me to save this setup. I really didn't did anything, worth of talking about. I'm into 54s and subscription model. We've never really thought seriously. I mean, I'll be very honest with that. We try to be the best we can be in what we do. And right now, there is a simulator that it is the best that there can be in with a subscription model, and that is iRacing. Hands down, it is the best subscription based simulator right now. And I'm not talking about physics, sounds, etc. I'm talking about you pay the subscription to go and play into the multiplayer system, and truth to be told, they have more than a decade of experience, and they are the best on what they do. For us to go against that, which is something that we don't really want to do, but we also need to put a lot of effort and have a lot of money beforehand to invest, so that we know that we will start at a worse place, and then slowly maybe we can get as good as them, and it's going to be a long time to do so. So we just don't even consider that. We don't want to do that. We want to offer a different kind of experience. We want to be able to use the money to focus in different things. Oh, thank you so much, Lars. So kind of you. Thank you, mate. So that's what we do. That's why we never thought about doing subscription. You know. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll drag. I'll be honest. We also love. I mean, pretty much everybody that works inside Kunos is a sim racer. Almost everybody, and we also loved GTR One and GTR Two. So for us, it was also one of the benchmarks of sim racing. So we are very very happy to be able to, you know, uh, make it something that sorry, that reminds GTR2 and possibly improves wherever it's possible to improve. Yes, yes, Johnny Oliveira, absolutely. ACC is already a great success. Sales are very, very healthy. Obviously, we're not yet on AC1 sales, but that is something we already knew from the start. The whole business model was to never arrive up to the Assetto Corsa One sales from the get going, because simply it's much more of a niche product. The Assetto Corsa One is much wider project. You fire up Assetto Corsa One and you can do GT3s, you can do single seaters, you can do drift, you can do drag racing, you can do whatever you want. While Assetto Corsa Competizione was just GT3s, now GT4s, all right, but that is the series. That is what we simulate. So it's even a smaller niche than normal. Thank you, Lars. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, Harperdon, we understand that the market starts to change slowly. People are more used to create, private lobbies, as they call them. To me, for example, lobby is is not a server when where you play, but lobby, starting from the old GPL VROC days, was the actual whole server list where you could also chat with the others. So that's a lobby for me. And we are still into that a little bit older mentality. But we also understand that things are changing, and slowly we also change and learn to do new things. So, yeah. Uh, yeah, well, Zaz, I mean, I cannot be objective on the physics, because obviously I do the physics for Assetto Corsa Competizione and Assetto Corsa One, so um, I won't go into comparing our physics with other sims. I will just try to do the best job I can. But objectively, I can't say that the online model of racing is obviously the best in the industry, hands down. So there's no denying on that. And they have decades, more than a decade of experience and how to do it. I mean, the guys are amazing. Could the game engine also work for other cars? Yeah, sure, no worries. I mean, we never develop a physics engine to do just one thing. The physics engine is global, let's say, not generic, and you feed it with data, and the data simulate the car that you want to simulate. Uh, no, no, I don't think we're gonna be able to do a power and glory mode for ACC. Yeah, the Discord is great. Discord is amazing. Uh, it takes Celtic. It takes really too much effort from our point of view to run continuous leagues and championships, and we don't have enough people to do that. I mean, if you going to have a look on how the leagues, the amazing leagues that we have, like the SimGrid or Racing Club International, or I don't know, Pigs 100 and AOR, all that stuff. Those leagues need a lot of people to keep on going every day, every day. I mean, there are 10 people, 20 people, and we don't have that people. And obviously, if you're gonna do it inside the development team, you need to pay monthly, salaries for 10 people or 20 people just to run the leagues, and we don't have this possibility right now. Florian, if you are talking about the private servers on the consoles, that's not how it works or how we think about it. Usually, people that want to create leagues and championships, they do this already in PC. They get their own servers and they create a league for many people, and then the people just join the leagues for free. So it's different. It's not that every one of you have to pay to create a server. Some people will create those big servers as usual, and possibly even the leagues that they already creating that stuff on PC. They will create also some servers for the consoles, and then the guys will find those servers for free, practically. Formula One. I doubt the teams will give us all that data that we get from the GT cars in Formula One. I really doubt. Actually, I'm sure they will not. Tom Ward, if you have bugs and stuff to report, we'll be very, very glad to listen to them. Please go to the official forums if it is PC. If it is console, they have a dedicated page into assetocorsa.net, I believe. Somewhere in there is the official place where to give reports for bugs and stuff like that. I don't know about future plans for GT Force. For now, it is the cars that we have. Just as a lot of passion, some sponsorship, some ads, stuff like that. That's how they run free servers for everybody. Well, they're not so small communities. I mean, besides with one physical server, you can host for at least two or three different leagues, and again, you can do many races during the day. So the 6 hour race, pressures and brakes completely failed to read. Are you sure that nobody from your team chosen a setup that had for error the brake pads for, and so after a couple of hours the brake pads completely failed and overheated, and so the tire pressures went through the roof because of that. I think probably that's the case. Lars, I wish it was that easy. I mean, we need to, find them, send the manufacturer, then talk with the teams. It's a lot of work to convince people to give you data. Thanks, Brian. Rules, no, because we have limits. There is limits on the bandwidth. Everyone that connects to a server as a spectator still uses some bandwidth from the server. So you cannot connect infinite amount of people into the server. Zazas, I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I don't know what to tell you about the new G923. Fernando from the team, which is our physics coder, has tried it. He told me that there are some interesting stuff, but I don't know exactly what's going on in there. Yeah, brake pads one also will fail after 2 to 3 hours, depending on how do you drive. Some maybe on some circuits with some kind of driving, you can make them, uh, you know, go ahead for 3.5 hours, but that's it, man. Ha, drink after light. Uh, Celtic, what do you mean exactly? At what point? The brake pads and these are getting consumed as you go. The Fabrizio, the brake pad duration changed in terms of brake pads. One can should be able to do 3 hours now without big problems. Again, as usual, the whole thing is dynamic. So depending of many factors, you might be able to arrive at 2 point, I don't know, 2 hours and a half or 3 hours and a half, but you should be able to do 3 hours. And brake pads too should almost easily go way over 12 hours or 13, maybe 14 hours. I haven't really pushed them to the limit, but you should be able to easily go way over 12 hours no matter how you drive practically. Martin Sirera, as far as I know, the safety rating for the GT4 generates penalties and bonuses differently. So a little bit of extra bumping is permitted with the GT4s already automatically. Uh, DRM, this is already happens and it is here. Maybe it doesn't show for whatever reason, but I don't know if you are in console or in PC. PC already happens. Maybe console needs to go up, a version or something. But if you go into driver and go into stats, here are all your lap times and your best lap times. You see, and here you can also filter single player, all multiplayer, and so on. So here are all your lap times practically. Brake pads 3 are can go far ahead as brake pads 2, even a little bit more, but it is mainly for wet conditions. Brake pad 4s are only there to let you understand what is happening when the brake pads get worn out uh, very badly. Brake pad 4s will start to feel very worn out after 20-30 minutes, something like that. Right. So, damn, I don't remember. I think Celtic Pharaoh, something around 15 millimeters. I think. Let me check. Yeah, when the buds go down to 15 millimeters, 14 millimeters, then you start to have big overheating problems, and then fade comes in, and you have all sorts of problems because of that. Ciao, Alessandro. No, DRM, no. The deltas are always for the lap times you're doing right now. Tom Ward, no. Breaks one for the 6 hours. Sorry, mate. That's the main problem. Brake pads one are for sprint races, which means 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe. That's it. You need to use brake pads too. That's what happened. Practically, you consumed the brake pads and the discs, so the brake pads started to overheat a lot, and the discs started to overheat a lot. And because they were overheating, and we had all the brake discs red, uh, they also overheated the tires, and so the pressures went up to the sky. That's what happened. Yeah, Tom Ward. If you go here, let me show you. So if you go here, if you go here, if you go here, almost there, almost there. Come on, right. So if you go into this link, you'll find the information that you need for the brake pads. Oh, CC Drive already gave the link. Sorry, yeah, I didn't saw that. It's okay, don't worry. I mean, it's virtual, and you've learned something, and next time you're gonna do great, much better if you go everywhere. Oh, ciao, ciao, the SimGrid. Oh, the official SimGrid YouTube account. Guys, you need to, go to the SimGrid YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button on the SimGrid. They doing some amazing races, so make sure that you go there and like the channel and hit subscribe. And of course, it's weekend, so for sure they will have some extra racers. Go over there and have a look. Luminar dovrebbe essere già lì, se non lo è sicuramente arriverà, sì, assolutamente. Sei sicuro che hai visto che, chiedo perché non lo so neanch'io, ma se vai nelle opzioni controlli, ok, dovresti controllare se tu puoi andare nelle assi, devi cliccare su questa icona qui con la freccia e qui puoi mettere il minimum e maximum limit, così puoi controllare il dead zone, no? E quanto range hai di pressione sul freno o sul gas. Prova a vedere se c'è sulle console. Dovrebbe, se non c'è, arriverà senz'altro. Yeah, Coach Dave always, great stuff. Tip top flop. Unfortunately, that is not possible to get an explanation. Main reason because for that is translation. We need to translate the whole game in many languages, and it is impossible to translate all of that in all the languages that the game is translated. Unfortunately, it's not the case as with the Assetto Corsa One anymore. Ah, there you see it. The SimGrid has R2, which I don't know what it is, Endurance Cup tomorrow. Endurance Cup. So make sure tomorrow to go to the SimGrid YouTube channel and have some great weekend races to watch. Ok, Luminar, perciò controllo e vedo come mai se lo sono saltati. Max Altus. uh, round two. Sorry, round two. So in the meantime, while we talk and chat and answer questions, let me also put the let me put the setup on on the GeForce on the G drive shared folder. So what we did was Mercedes, right? Mercedes, Barcelona. So this is one. Actually, this is one, and this is the other. Right. So copy this, and actually, let me switch the camera for a minute. Right. I will make it at some point. In the meantime, go ahead and ask things. Okay, right. So we have it here, and then we have to go and get it here. Right. Actually, I do have it here. So why I'm doing all these stupid things? I don't know. Right, here it is. Should be here maybe. I don't remember where I have put things. Why? Ah, there it is. Right, so here it is. So new folder, Mercedes AMG GT3. Create. Let's go inside and copy those nice. All right, so you guys now have the setups from the Mercedes inside the usual folder. You can find it also in the description of all the videos. And let's see if we have some extra today. I can. Okay. Tour of track facilities. I don't know if we have something strange here at Barcelona, to be honest. I don't remember. Usually, Lars, I'm streaming every Friday, except if I have some kind of race, which it usually happens during the weekend, Saturday maybe. But usually every Friday I'm streaming, And if during the stream I have some interesting things to to cut, then I cut small videos and I post them during the week. The small update was for downloading the free DLC for the Ferrari Challenge Evo car and competition. It's a free car you can get for the PC from Ferrari. You can go and subscribe, register, I believe, to their webpage or to a Kappa Informatica webpage, I don't remember. And then they give you a code so that you can download this new car for Assetto Corsa 1. Hey, DRM Racing, have a good night. I don't know. Seldom, only some slight vibrations when you go over 50 kilometers, that might happen. But if you experience lots of vibrations like that, then something is wrong with your steering wheel angle. You have to make sure that uh, the main thing is this mainly. So when you
Green light.
turn
Go again.
your steering wheel 90 degrees, the virtual steering wheel also has to turn 90 degrees. If this doesn't happen, then something is wrong between these steering wheel values and the options here in the controls, this number here, the steer lock. So you have to make those two numbers identical and possibly high enough. Well, making the videos shorter is good for people that don't have the time to, go through the whole streaming. And also, it's easier than when you have the shorter videos. If, some new people come in, or even some people that already know the channel, and they ask us specific information, you can point them to a specific video, which is short, and they can go that and watch it, and it's great. GTP, yeah, of course, I drove GTP, yeah, absolutely, obviously, yeah. And what kind of? I mean, there is a great channel of an Italian guy that gives great information about Simukube. Um, Let me see if I can find it. I believe everybody that has tried his values, he has been extremely happy about it. Also, I believe we already released some Simukube 2 presets on PC with the latest previews. But let me check. Um, oh my God, what was his name? And of course, now I won't remember anything because it's too late, and my brain is like, adios. Yeah. Oh well, yes. If you have vibrations like that, I mean, something is not it's not proper. Yes, Brian, I talk a lot. Everybody says that. Okay, so how was that guy? Mirko De Santis. So let me check YouTube. No, I don't think we're gonna do Python again. But it is already has shared memory, so it exports ton of stuff. So Mirko De Santis. That's it. Okay, so let me check videos. He had a specific video for Assetto Corsa Competizione. Ah, here it is. Here it is. So I highly, highly recommend to go. It is in Italian, but in the end, you can just copy the numbers, and you should be fine. So go here, watch this video, and now next stream, let me know how you do. Oh, Robson, welcome. You have so much stuff to learn and do. All right, guys. I mean, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and how to do real driver swaps in endurance races, Mr. Grumpy? What do you mean, multiplayer? You just have to join with your friends a league that does driver swaps, and it's easy practically. You don't have to do anything. I mean, you have to go into here, and you will find the names of your co-drivers here, and you just change them, and you select the other driver, and when you do the pit stop, the other driver hops in, and you do it. That's it. Okay, guys. So 1 o'clock in the morning. I hope you had some fun. Yes, we didn't explain many things, but we did a pretty nice setup. I was pretty impressed because we did a pretty good lap time too. So yes, 7 a.m. Coanda, mate. You are incredible. And see you next week, I guess. See you next week. So thank you everybody for joining. I mean, so many people at this kind of hour. I hope it wasn't too boring because we talked a lot. We talked a lot. Honestly, guilty. Sorry about that. And right, see you. Have a good night, and see you next week.